The idea, insight, or secret you need for massive impact is just moments away. It's time to claim your career crown. The podcast where business owners and entrepreneurs share the keys to the kingdom to help you open the vault to your greater success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strategic Sales Queens Claim Your Career Crown podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck, the Strategic Sales Queen, and today I'm joined by this absolutely amazing guest that I've personally learned so much from. Her name is Dana Rozier, and we're going to be talking about why most AI training falls short and what actually succeeds. So this is going to be a great conversation because you know what? AI is everywhere right now, but most businesses are struggling to actually use it well. And many teams attend a training, just feel overwhelmed, and then they go right back to their old habits. We've all been there, right? And so Dana is really going to be sharing why that happens and what actually works if you want AI adoption to stick. And I would like to remind you, if you love the episode, you love the show, I invite you to subscribe. It costs nothing to subscribe. And while you're there, leave us that 5-star review. So let me tell you about Dana. I've had the pleasure and honor of getting to know Dana, and she's the founder of Nova Consulting AI. I almost said construction there, which would make sense with AI and what you do. And she helps non-technical leaders and small teams adopt AI with confidence. And Dana has a background in teaching and curriculum development, and she specializes in making complex technology simple and practical. Dana focuses on building AI literature and helping organizations create the right conditions for AI to truly succeed. And Dana, I am so excited to have you today on the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I love to talk about AI.
Well, and I'm going to just say I'm a huge fan because I've already learned so much from you. So let's just sort of dive in. What inspired you to start helping businesses adopt AI?
Yeah, so I started using AI even before ChatGPT came out. I was doing all this content development, and there was a tool called Jasper AI, and I started to use it. And it was really hard to learn, but I stuck with it. And then like a couple months later, ChatGPT came out, and it was so easy. I thought, oh my gosh, this is so much easier than Jasper. And as it turns out, Jasper was built on top of ChatGPT. And when I saw how easy it was to create content, because that's about all ChatGPT could do back then, I thought, ooh, this is going to help me. So I started using it then. And then I was talking to people. This is like in 2023. Wow. Nah, I'd kind of heard about AI, but it was just not on people's radar. Yeah. But now, as AI is really integrating into the whole fabric of our society, people are realizing, I need to know this. Yeah. And so I realized everybody needs to know AI, especially if you're in business and especially if you're women. So I really like training small teams and leaders how to use it because it can save so much time if you know how to use it.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. So why do you think that most AI training programs fall short? Because, you just segued right into my next question.
Yes, I think because people think AI training is about tools and skills, and it partially is, but really what it's about is a mindset shift. AI is nothing like any of us have ever seen. I don't care how old you are. It's a whole different thing that we don't even know how to think about AI. So when I train people on AI, it's yes, how to use the tools and what they can do. But really, it's about you're going to have to change your whole workflow. And that's scary for people, but it also presents a lot of opportunity because all of a sudden people can work so much more efficiently. And when they see what AI can do, they think, are you kidding me? I don't have to do whatever. And I said, no, you don't. And AI could do that because we all have our human expertise that we should tap into. And AI frees us from those dumb, mundane tasks that none of us want to do to allow us to use our human superpowers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how you also approach it from processes and what are things that businesses can put into place and leverage AI so they don't have to do those mundane tasks and some of the just sort of the mind numbing killing things because they can train AI to do it for them.
Yes, and I think AI training AI to do it for them is one of the keys because a lot of people type something into AI and it comes back with this vanilla answer because the AI doesn't know context. I know you use AI and I know you have trained AI. Who is Lynn Whitbeck? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? Who's your ideal client? So the more AI knows about people, the more it can help them with its tasks. So I help teams discover how they can train their AI to know more about them or their company, depending on their workflow. And then I've also noticed this. So as I started to work with more and more teams, some companies were successful with AI adoption and some weren't. So I began to see this pattern. So companies who have AI adoption stick, like have these 5 components in place. And first is at the core is AI literacy, because until you understand what AI can do and how it can help, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's like the core. And then there are these 4 environmental factors. And it could be whether you're a solopreneur or a company. So you have to know AI. There needs to be an AI spark, somebody who gets the ball rolling and keeps it rolling, whether that's you as a leader or somebody on your team. There needs to be leadership support. It's not just buy an AI license for everyone and call it good. No. The leader has to know how to use AI by themselves and also encourage their team to use it. Because if they're not using it, how can they encourage their team?
Yeah.
And then a third environmental factor is a safe space. A lot of people I've worked with are afraid to use AI. Are we going to give away company secrets? Or I don't feel safe experimenting because I'm going to get in trouble. Or I'm learning AI because it's going to take my job. So when people don't feel safe, they're not going to use AI. And then the last environmental factor is peer learning, because a lot of businesses work in silos and we all need to learn from each other how to use AI because this is brand new.
Yeah.
So I walk people through like the 5 environmental factors you need to have in place to really make AI adoption stick.
Yeah. No, I mean that is I love everything you just said on there, and that is so true because I'm hearing a lot of that, like AI is going to steal jobs. But the thing is, it's actually creating an opportunity for us to be doing higher level work. And I mean, that also leads in. I'm going to cut you off because I'm going to go to my next question, and then you can answer that. But what's the biggest mistake leaders make when trying to introduce AI to their teams? Because that sort of leads into those 5 things that you just told me about.
Yes, and it depends what problem are they trying to solve with AI? So why are they even introducing AI in the first place? Is it because they know they're supposed to? Well, what's that mean? What business problem is AI going to solve for you? So I think leaders need to make that clear. We're going to learn AI because it's going to help us do whatever the leader thinks it's going to do. And then it's so important for the leader to model using AI. Here's how I've been using it. Here's what drives me nuts. And also, I'm going to give you time to experiment with AI. Maybe every Friday from 12 to 1, it's AI time at the company.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good suggestion because, just turning people loose, doesn't work. And then don't have a set process and you don't have all the things that you talked about with those 5 things that you need to have so that AI can be successful in the team. So you also talked a lot about the human side. And what does that mean, the human side of AI adoption?
Humans need to learn to work differently because you've always worked, let's say, a certain way in your job. And then it can't take the place of your job, but it can free up certain tasks for you. And I'll just tell you one task that I had AI do for me. I had to go out and find some email addresses. So here's what I could do. Like, how long would this take you? put the name of some new contacts into a spreadsheet, find their email address, paste them in, right? It's tedious, but it needs to get done. So you can train an AI how to do that now. So it can put the names in your spreadsheet, it can find the emails, and it can put them in your spreadsheet for you. So that's just one kind of task that if it frees up time to do that, then all of a sudden your brain is free to do other things.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I was working on a spreadsheet this morning for something. So that makes a lot of sense. And those types of things, they're incredibly tedious and they're very time consuming. And you're not actually, it's literally admin type, mind numbing, brain numbing work. But somehow it has to be done. So I love this.
So what if in your job, yes, it takes time to learn AI, but once you do, oh my gosh, the time, let's say it takes 2 hours to learn the process, but it's going to save you 100 hours over the course of the year. And when you learn new AI skills, it just increases your confidence and your capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so true. I mean, and I love that human side of this. So what does successful AI adoption look like in a small team?
So instead of, oh yeah, I've used ChatGPT once or twice to write an email, it's people are using it every day. It just becomes a natural part of how they work. So they've learned how to adopt it, and it takes time. And I think people really need to know that. So I worked with a team, a small team, like a 17, for 6 months. And we had workshops every month and check-ins every other week. And it was a long time. So when I talked to the CEO afterwards, she said about month 4, she noticed the shift that started to take place. It just takes a long time. So I want people to give themselves grace. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. I mean, to make any kind of change or to learn any kind of skill, you don't do it well immediately. I mean, I want us to all go back. This is one of the metaphors that I use all the time, or analogies, I should say. But when we learned how to ride a bicycle as children, you go from the tricycle to the bike with the training wheels, and then you finally get onto the bike. And I don't know about you, but I fell off. I skinned my elbows. I skinned my knees. I skinned my chin, for goodness sakes. But I kept getting back on that bike because I knew that when I learned how to ride the bike, without the training wheels, I could go everywhere, in my neighborhood. I could go to the park. I could go back up. I could go to the school. I could go over to my friend Judy's house. We could be, it was like the freedom. And so, but you don't learn that. Nobody gets on a bike and just rides off, because I think about the Ted Lasso episode where, we've got Jamie is trying to teach Roy how to ride a bike, and Roy's never learned how to ride a bike, well, at the end of the evening, now this is a incredible athlete. I mean, granted, he's a coach now, but he can ride the bike, but he did it. It took hours for him to not be flipping over on the bike.
But 100% is such a great analogy, because AI, well, part of it is people have ridden bikes in the past so they can help train you, but nobody has used AI. So you kind of do have to find somebody who knows AI, but then you're exactly right. You're going to get skin knees, you're going to fall off, and you just go back in the chair and say, okay, that didn't work, but let's try this, and not to give up. And AI is intimidating because it's technology.
Yeah.
And people think they're dumb. No. Everyone is learning.
But that's the thing. If you have someone like Jamie teaching you how to ride or use AI or ride a bike, right? I mean, if they have you helping them, they're going to be able to they'll be able to be riding the bike in a much shorter period of time than if they are trying to do it all on their own. I think Roy would totally have given up and it would have bagged it. Because remember, at one point he flings the bike away from himself. So I love this. It's just like, that's what it takes. This is a really good example of that shift in mindset, learning to use a new tool with the guidance of someone, but also learning to use it correctly from the get-go, and what pitfalls to avoid. Because we touched on one, you talked about, well, I'm afraid I'm going to give all our company secrets away. So there are some real pitfalls if you don't set things up correctly to begin with.
Yeah, that's so true. And a lot of it is a lot of companies I work with, it's data privacy. So a lot of people don't know how to turn off because a lot of people are using free versions and they need to know how to turn off certain features. So they're not giving away company secrets. And they need to know how to prompt AI.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you don't get garbage, because you garbage in, garbage out. And I love the thing because the security settings, they keep moving them around. They're literally hidden. They're hidden, so that you can make sure that your intellectual property isn't just being spewed out to the world.
Yeah, that's right. And how do you know? You could watch a YouTube video, and it's true. That's how I've taught myself a lot, by watching YouTube videos. Or you could work with somebody like me who's been there, done that, can show you the
Yeah.
tricks and just get you up to speed so much faster.
Yeah, it's the speed of application, right? So how can a business owner tell if their team is truly ready for AI?
I don't know if anyone's truly ready for AI because what people are being asked to change,
Yeah,
and change is hard.
yeah,
So how will you know you're ready? Because the leader totally understands it's a mindset shift and it's going to be hard. But you know what? We're all in this together. I'm learning just like you are. I'm failing. I'm getting scabs on my knees, and so will you. So is anyone ready?
oh, there's always
It's a
those early
change
adopters.
management, right? Oh,
Yeah.
yes, there are the early adopters. Oh, and sometimes people are scared to say. In fact, I was giving a talk in AI, and I asked who are the power users in the room. Maybe three people raised their hand, but then some banker came up and said, "Psst, I'm a power user. I didn't want to raise my hand because I don't know if I can use it at work."
Oh,
So I think people are using it at work, but maybe they're afraid to say they're using it at work. So once
yeah.
again, it's a leader making their staff feel safe. It's okay to use AI.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I also like one of the things that you just talked about with, I think the better question is, not are they ready? What's a single, but this is now past the early adoption phase. You were an early adopter. That's why you've been there, done that, and you're so far ahead, and tapping into your expertise just gets people there faster, right? But this is something that I really feel that if you don't start implementing and adopting things that are smart, that make sense for your business and your processes and what you do, um, that you're going to be left behind.
100%. And as we're moving into this new phase of AI that can actually do work for you, like I talked about, it put names in the spreadsheet, it found the emails, it did that. People are going to get further and further behind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just such a huge time saver. And there's so many different ways. So let's talk about one simple step that our listeners can take this week to start using AI more strategically.
Yes. And here's what always blows my socks off. I was at a conference, so here's what somebody could do. And I have AI on my phone. So I just talked into it. Oh my gosh, I'm at this conference, and I just babbled everything I was seeing. And then I asked AI to summarize what I had just said. I thought, oh my gosh, clarity of thought. I never would have seen that. So one easy way is just to talk to AI and ask it to clarify your thoughts, because they're all rattling around in our brain. And that's an easy way to see the power of AI and to see how it can organize things and show you back what you're thinking. That's just
Yeah.
one easy way to get started.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I use that all the time. I
Uh,
dictate. I've
yeah,
named my chat Jerry, and Jeri. So, and I have conversations with Jerry all that, because I love to collaborate, and because I've trained Jerry on my voice, because I've written so much content, created so many things, I was able to upload all that. So, it's like it starts with a basis of knowledge.
yes.
And I also correct it when it uses things that I don't like. Like, no, I would never do that, and I don't like this and I don't like that, strike that. But it's like it learns it. That's the thing. It just keeps, but it helps me like, well, this is what I'm thinking and this is where I'm going and this is what I'm doing. And it's really helpful for me because like even that story I was just telling about um, Ted Lasso and the riding the bike. I think I used that in one of my emails because I remembered that story. And it is such a classic story. Is like, even in, sales, you learn those sales skills. Most people are not just born and suddenly they can sell ice cubes to Eskimos. I mean, which is a phrase my dad used to use, which is sounds, I don't know. I'm probably saying something horrible right now, but whatever, you get what I mean. And so it's like, here's the thing, everything we do throughout our life, from the time we learn to crawl to the time we learn to walk, to riding a bike, to learning sales skills, to learning AI skills, they are all learned skills.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? Is that who was it came up with the mindset? You have an open mindset or a closed mindset. So if you think you can learn and change, Carol Dweck.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have that, the mindset. I actually have that right here. Ta-da! So,
Yeah.
Anyway, so this has been such a great conversation. Is there anything you wish that I had asked you that I have not, Dana?
I think people should ask themselves, why aren't you using AI? Maybe people could just ruminate on that.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the fear that's holding you back?
Yes.
Yeah. So Dan,
yeah.
Go ahead. We're talking
is it courage, confidence? Like, what is holding you back? Lack of time for a lot of people, but guess what? It's going to save you lots of time.
Yeah. It's like most things when you learn the skill, you have to invest so that you then get all the benefits. So, Dana, thank you so much for sharing why most AI training falls short and what actually succeeds. I know that our audience and our listeners are going to want to know more about you and where they can find you and connect with you.
Yeah, so I'm active on LinkedIn, and people can also go to my website, Nova Consulting AI. And if you want to just chit chat, just book a free call. I'm always happy to talk about AI. And there's a big red button on my website to make it easy.
All right. That's great. And for those of you who are watching this live, I've added Dana's website and her LinkedIn to the chat. And for those of you who are listening afterwards, it's in the podcast notes down below. And I want to thank you, Dana, and to all of our listeners who tuned in. I mean, this has been actually a lot of fun, but it's also been a very informative discussion. And Dana, I thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Lynn. This has been super fun to talk about. Thanks for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? I would love to hear about it. It's important to share the things you love. If you loved this episode, a 5-star review really helps keep the podcast coming to you regularly. Also, if you want to get more sales strategies to grow your business, make sure you subscribe right now. If you want to get results even faster, I invite you to download my sales strategy checklist at petitetoqueen.com/checklist. This has been Lynn Whitbeck, host of Claim Your Career Crown. I'll see you next time.